Live and Ustream.com. Just search WICR and like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/WICR Iona College Radio.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Today with Matt and Dave. I'm Matt Ricker.
And I'm Dave Horvat.
And now we're moving on to some national headlines. Our first headline is regarding the Flint water crisis. I feel as though it's kind of been hidden in the headlines now. With 2016 has been, race for the White House has been dominating most of the headlines these days. But I think it's important that we don't forget about them. The situation there is basically not resolved yet after this several months going on. And for those
Their
of you
water's
who...
brown.
I'm sorry?
Their water's brown.
Yeah. And full of lead.
Iona, every so often, our water turns brown. And it's disgusting. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sink, the shower, anything. I can only imagine what they're going through because it's brown all the time.
Yeah.
Like, that's not healthy.
And not even just brown, full of lead.
Like, how?
And so in case you're having trouble remembering, it happened a few months ago when the city of Flint, Michigan, it's about a few miles outside of Detroit. It's basically one of the suburbs. And they switched the water sources from some lake to somewhere else, if I'm not mistaken. The main goal to do that was to make it cheaper, because the water was coming further away. But yet, little did they know that the water source that they were switching to wasn't, up to date, and it's bad.
Why don't they just switch back?
And hundreds of kids have suffered from lead poisoning, which does irreversible damage to the body, causes growth defects, and it's not good. It affects everyone's health. If you've watched the news and you see all those bottles of water that they filled with that dirty water, as I said, it's full of lead and it's discolored. People are advised not to use the water there. People are calling for the Michigan governor to resign over his handling of this crisis. I'm not sure. I would hope that he would be doing all that he can to fix this crisis. I think the people should just have faith for a little while longer, see if they can resolve it. He's had many press conferences saying, they're trying their best, but, I don't know how much longer people are going to be able to put up with that. And it's also become an issue in the 2016 race for the White House. It gets a lot of questions are being asked about it at many of the recent debates for both the Democrats and Republicans, and each candidate has their own stance on what would they do if the country or a city like that was facing a crisis. The federal government just gave the city of Flint, Michigan, some federal aid to help them get through this crisis for water bottles. And actually, according to CNN, I found this out this afternoon, this one family uses 151 bottles of water every day. Can you imagine that?
How many, what do you get, 24 in a case?
Yeah, about that.
We're talking 7 cases of water a day?
Yeah, and don't forget, they're not just drinking that water. They have to use it to flush the toilet. They need it to take a shower. They need it to wash their face, brush their teeth, any of the daily necessities that you need to do. Aside, and also cooking and cleaning. It's really.
Why don't they just go back to their old source?
That's what they've done. That's what they tried to do, but it hasn't corrected the problem. It's a very complicated thing. No one really knows, the way the pipes are old, and the whole system is old. So
they just really didn't do their research before.
Yeah.
doing this.
But our hearts and prayers, our thoughts and prayers are with the city of Flint, Michigan, and hopefully this crisis gets resolved soon. And actually, the city of New Rochelle donated some cases of water to Flint, so that was very kind of
Well,
them.
off of
Yeah.
that, I think it was about 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
I guess a pipe burst somewhere else. I don't know which town around here, and that turned all the water brown for about.
Yeah, that was actually in the eastern part of New Rochelle,
Mhm.
and also I think Mount Vernon
Yeah,
and a few other places were affected. Pelham, and I remember our water was brown and
for two
everyone was
days.
freaking out, but
That was
and then it came on, it came back on, the next day, and it was fine. Um, and yeah, I mean, we get so upset when we lose the water, but here, those people are going through
months.
far dire situations. So now, moving on to the next headline. Over the weekend, former First Lady Nancy Reagan passed away at the age of 94. She was the wife of President Ronald Reagan. And, her burial and funeral took place yesterday. So she is expected to be buried next to her husband. And she's always been remembered as, one of the classiest first ladies. And she's also been known for wearing the color red. And that's basically, she kind of influenced the Republican Party to make their color red. I've heard that, and also she was so good when her husband was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. She stuck by his side till the very end, to his last breath. And Ronald Reagan is remembered as one of the greatest presidents in the United States. So our thoughts and prayers are with the family. Um, but the way to think about it is Ronald and Nancy are now
Back
reunited.
together for the first time in a while.
Yeah. Um, Now, moving on to the 2016 race for the White House, CNN is having a debate tonight for Republicans at 8:30 Eastern in Miami, Florida. According to the New York Times, Rubio is currently coming in second place. Donald Trump is in first place, which is sort of surprising because everyone is expected to win their home state. And I read this morning in the New York Times that former Governor Jeb Bush of Florida, he people still want him, even though he suspended his campaign in different areas of Florida. They still want him to be president. And they're not throwing their support behind Rubio. It'll be interesting to see when that happens. The next time, or I'm sorry, the when Florida votes will be in the next few days. It'll be March 15th, which is next Tuesday. So it'll be interesting to see, and we'll be watching that closely. Also, Texas Senator Ted Cruz has been opening offices all across the state of Florida, kind of trying to get ahead of Marco Rubio, the senator there. So it's kind of taken him off guard because, he's moving at a faster pace than Rubio can. So again, we'll have to see. And now Dave and I are going to read you some of the election results. So this was from March 8th, this past Tuesday. In Hawaii, Trump won by 42%. Cruz was 33%. Rubio was 13%. And Ohio Governor John Kasich was 11%. In Idaho, Trump came in second place at 28. Cruz at 45, Rubio at 16, and Kasich at 7. In Michigan, and this was a big state because, as we were talking about before, the Flint water crisis, a lot of people are watching to see what each candidate would do if a crisis like that was to happen. So Trump won by 37%, Cruz 25, Rubio 9, and Kasich 24. In Mississippi, Trump was 47, Cruz was 36, Rubio was 5, and John Kasich was 9. Now for the Democratic results.
So over for the Democrats, we had upset here, as me and you talked about, with Bernie Sanders beating out Hillary Clinton 50% to 48% in Michigan. That was a big win for Bernie. They say it's a big win, but as Matt and I went through the actual electoral votes, not electoral votes, but the
Delegates.
delegates, I think he only got 7 more out of it. So
Mhm.
it was 99. I'm pretty sure something about that. 99 for I mean I'll check that. I'll have Matt check that for me. I think it was 99 delegates for Michigan for the Democrats, and it's like Bernie got 7 more than Hillary. So it's like at the end of the day, how much of a win is that? Okay, yeah, he won plus 7, but Hillary still got the lead there. Over Mississippi, it was a landslide kill. Clinton 83%. Sanders 17%, so it wasn't even a close matchup at that time. Now, looking at the delegates totals as of right now, it is Trump in first place with the Republicans at 458, Cruz in second with 359, Rubio in third with 151, and Kasich in fourth with 54. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton. This was without the superdelegates, by the way, because that makes a difference. The Hillary's up 760 to 546. But that's just the delegates. If you add in the superdelegates, that's another 461 for Clinton and 25 for Sanders. So, yes, it looks close. It's like, oh, Sanders is only off by 200. Once you throw the delegates in, he's off by 600. So that is it as of right now. Now, Matt, I'm gonna throw it back to you so you can talk about some upcoming debates or upcoming voting.
Yeah, so we just had Super Tuesday last week, and that was a big day. A lot of states at stake. But now, coming up, we on March 15th, we have Florida. I'm sorry. No, I skipped over a day. On March 12th, we have the District of Columbia Republican primary. Um, and the GOP delegates to win are 19. And the Democratic primary for DC is June 14th. So, got some time there. In Guam, which is an American territory. Uh, they have 9 delegates to win on the GOP side. The Democratic caucus is May 7th. In the Northern Mariana Islands, it's for the Democrats. Uh, 11 delegates are at stake. The Republican caucus is March 15th. Lastly, on the 12th is Wyoming Republican primary. So there are 29 delegates at stake, and we'll have to see what happens. And this is all according to the New York Times. The Republican Party will allocate 12 of its delegates as a result of the county convention. So they do it a little bit differently there.
Is it off of counties? Like whoever wins more counties gets the.
I think, yeah, they
Because Wyoming doesn't have that big of a population. Like Wyoming, Montana, they all have relatively small populations.
yeah, even Idaho as well.
Yeah, I mean they're all out
Yeah,
there, and it's like
yeah. But on March 15th, this is a big one, Florida, and it's a GOP winner-take-all state.
so whoever wins gets all 99.
Yep.
Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, that's correct. And on the Democratic side,
Just 246.
246 delegates are at
Is that
stake.
also winner take all though? Is that just for the Republicans? It's
It
winner
says
take all.
here only GOP,
Oh.
so yeah, we'll have to see what Clinton and Sanders get. But I know Clinton's been doing better with the southern states,
Oh,
so
yes.
it'd be
If
it'll
Bernie
be
could pull
interesting
that
to
out,
see.
that'd be if Bernie could pull out a huge percentage, that'd be huge for him.
But now in Illinois is also on March 15th. There are 69 GOP delegates at stake and 182 Democrat delegates as well. And this one is a GOP winner take most. So we'll have to see what happens with that. In Missouri, that's also on the 15th of March. 52 delegates are at stake and 84 on the Democratic side. And then Northern Mariana Islands is Republican caucus. It's a GOP winner take all. There are 9 delegates at stake for the Republicans. In North Carolina, that can be a big one as well. There are 72 GOP delegates at stake and 121 on the Democratic side. In Ohio, and don't forget that is John Kasich's state.
Mm-hmm.
He is the current governor of that state right now. It is also a GOP winner-take-all, so that is a big one. 66 are at stake for the Republican Party and 159 for the Democrats. Then moving on to March 22nd in Arizona, that's a big Republican state, mostly Republican there. GOP winner take all, 58 for Republicans, 85 for the Democrats. In Idaho, the GOP already had their primary, and Ted Cruz won that one. 27 delegates are at stake for the Democrats. In Utah, there are, 37 for the Democrats and 40 for the GOP. And lastly, March 26th is Alaska Democratic Caucus. So we'll have to see how that goes. The Republican caucus was March 1st. There are 20 delegates for the Democrats at stake. And also Hawaii Democratic Caucus, 34 at stake. The GOP had that caucus this past week, and Donald Trump won. And lastly, on March 26th is the Washington State Democratic Caucus. 118 delegates are at stake there. So that's going to be, that's also a big prize for the Democrats, I'd say. The Republican primary for Washington State is May 24th. And that is all the 2016 updates that I have. Dave, do you have anything to add?
No, just we will see in the next week again how things will shift. Anything shifts
No, not next week.
next week. I'm sorry. By the end of the month, we'll see.
Thursday the 31st we'll be back.
Yes.
After spring break. So we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we'll have entertainment, music, and more. Stay with us. Thanks for listening.